Hey everyone, it is time for results. The competitive season has started again, so that means Mondays are all about those results, right? So here we have a lot of fancy, nice graphs produced by Fuzzy Paradox. Big shout outs to him. Go check out the VG Paradox website. It is insanely good and continues to be updated with more good Vanguard stuff all the time. But yeah, we had quite a few tournaments happen this weekend. We had our first BRO for V Premium format. The BRO is a bit different this year. It is going to just be one format per BRO. So this time it's V Premium. Next time it's actually Y Schwartz, and then followed by Standard, and then lastly Premium. And then we also had some Springfest results happening on the same weekend in, I think it's Toronto. And then lastly, we had some Kyoto results, which basically kicks off the start of the WGP Deluxe season again, but has some pretty interesting results for the new Messiah decks and how it impacts the meta. So very, very cool to see. Let's start off with BRO, V Premium. Fortunately, I think a lot of people, like, it's V Premium, right? What is topping in V Premium? It's just Steam Maidens. It actually hasn't changed much. It's just Steam Maidens. In AO region, we had 5 Geek Chronicles in top 8. Then we had a Grand Blue Shadow Paladin and a Royal Paladin. So, okay. But then after we made it to the top 4, the winner was Anthony Sean Chua with the Steam Maiden, followed by Art with the Luard, and then Sackmaster with the Steam Maiden, and Techno Eagle with the Night Rose deck. Now, also, both of the top 2 was from Philippines. So actually, Philippines doing very, very well in this entire BRO, especially the AO region overall. So we're gonna kind of see that. Let's take a look at Techno Eagle's deck. This is the one that is kind of interesting. I won't be going through all of them. As you can see here, they do provide the deck codes. So if you really want to dive into the deck, I'm not going to look at Steam Maidens, really, because, we don't know what they look like. The ward really hasn't changed as well. So we're looking at the kind of the off-the-cuff stuff. So Techno Eagle's deck is just a full-on Night Rose deck. It's just a very simple idea. Actually running 2 of the 20k Ghosties, which is interesting. And yeah, but otherwise, pretty straightforward, right? Pretty straightforward. So next up we have is the EU region. This one was also dominated by a lot of Geek Chronicles, 4 Geek Chronicles, basically all of them Steam Maidens, but we had a bit more variety with the 1 Bermuda Triangle, 1 Great Nature, Grand Blue, and another Royal Paladin as well. So very, very nice. And then cutting into the top 4, we had Ryan M, also from the Philippines, with the Steam. We don't even need to talk about the decks, right? Because all of them are Steam Maidens. But yeah, we had Ryan M from the Philippines defeating Dave Vect, right? The Premium World Champ, also playing Steam Maidens, and then Mark 1. Good guy, nice friend, lives in Australia. Probably seen him playing some card games. Yeah, coming in third with another Steam Maiden, and then go with a Steam Maiden as well. So, yeah, I think it's pretty expected, right? Some of the decks that were pretty cool. This is Remy's deck that he topped with, otherwise known as Kuroneko, with the Ange. So Ange was slated to be a pretty good deck. Unfortunately, didn't make it out of top 8 as much as Steam Maidens. So unlucky, right? But this is what an Ange kind of looks like right now. Then we had the this is actually Kai's Night Rose. Not really a Night Rose. It's a Grand Blue deck. I played him in Swiss, and then I died. Right? Unfortunately, died. I think this is like a Ghosty deck, because you look at this bunch of Ghosties. There's 4 Beatrice, and yeah, it's a Ghosty deck, but you run like the 1 Night Rose for when you fight against something like a Luard, like me, and then you get the Night Rose and just kind of Skull Dragon them to death anyway. So yeah, you have kind of both modes of play. So just like the pokey Ghosty deck with a bunch of like high defensive power, lots of mini multi-attacks. Or you can just switch it up. If it's a lot of matchup you want to play with Ghosty, just go into Night Rose, just go good old smackdown and just kill your opponent, right? And then lastly, we do have the Jewel Knight deck here. And this one is running a few more Salamence. I think we saw Blaster 56 also was running a Jewel Knight deck in AO and made top 8, but unfortunately we don't have his list. But I think it was shown on stream, so he was running more on the Ashley, and then less Salome, right? But I think this one is just kind of a bit more of a mix, and then just cutting on a Miranda. And I think, yeah, basically some of the difference is just the grade 3 searches and all that as well. So yeah, pretty cool, right? If you're a Jewel Knights fan, there you go, right? Two tops in 2 regions. And then we had NA. So NA again, we had the 4 Geek Chronicles, but actually only 3 Steam Maidens. I'm not 100% sure. this could be like a mystery flare, right? But you know, it could be like a mystery flare on a Steam main deck. I'm not 100% sure. I want to see the list. There were the 2 Shadow Paladins, a Luard and a Raging Fall, and the Grand Blue again, and then an Angel Feather. So we had the Malkuth. So very nice, pretty interesting. And then what happened was 94 Smurf made it with the Steam Maidens beating Manlong playing the Luard, and then Gurgit-san with the Steam Maidens beating, and then T-Dub with the Night Rose as well. And yeah, 984 Smurf is from Singapore, right? So they were doing pretty well, right? They couldn't fly to America this year because, you know, visa issues. But Singapore doesn't have visa issues, right? But yeah, you know, it costs a lot. But yeah, they stay at home and play BRO, right? So very cool, very cool. Moving on, we had some of the Spring Fest. This one was in Toronto. One thing to say, not a huge fan of the font, right? Not a huge fan of. If Fuzzy is watching, the font's like, it feels a bit tacky. I don't know, like it's, yeah, it's not my favorite. But we have this. We're starting off with standard. This one was on my meta all the way, running Minerva, Lutetia, and the Ava. So surprisingly, I don't think Chronojet was legal in this because it just got released, right? So they're taking like less of a minute. But this second place was Ambition with Minerva, Roroa, and Lutetia. So the Roroa is pretty out there, right? Pretty out there. We had Asher in third place with the Magnolia, Ava, and the Youthberg. And for real with the Ava, Youthberg, and the Flagberg. So basically, nearly every team taking an Ava. But then, you know, I guess the Minerva's coming in top 2 is pretty interesting, right? Not something you'd expect. So let's kind of take a look at some of the interesting decks here. First off, we do have the Minerva deck. So this one was like a bit cool in Japan, and then kind of like dived off a bit. It just was like just a normal deck. This is pretty much the decks that I think we've been seeing in Japan. You run the Drilling and the Calibre, and then the rest of it is just like your good stuff. And then, yeah, just restand and win, right? But then this one, the next one we have is the Roroa deck. So this one got the support in set 8. And yeah, I'd like to see how well it did. It came second. It came, like, the team came second. I would like to see the individual record for this. But yeah, running just, you know, Rated Lena and, you know, just doing the combos. Ride Lion, I guess, is, yeah, just the Roars. Its width wasn't pretty, but yeah. Yeah, otherwise, yeah, pretty interesting. There's 7 draws as well. Like, pretty much 7 draws. And with the Stoy KO, which is like 8 draws, right? Heavy draw counts, which is pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. Pretty unique way to build it. I think, you know, most decks are like, you know, the 8 crits and all that. But, you know, when you see like a heavy draw deck, you're like, wow, okay, that's an interesting way to build the deck. And then we also have the Magnolia here. Just a good old Magnolia Eldar with the Inlet Pulse with some updated... maybe not updated stuff, because I guess just I mean, I guess the order is a bit of an update, but yeah, otherwise it's just a good deck that's been performing really well. I guess, no, the Grade 2 is a bit of an update, right? And then lastly, we do have that Flagberg list. This is just the starter, don't worry about it, you can't see it, but it's just the starter. Running Dianthers as well as, you know, just, we've still got the condensation orders, but also just running the normal ride line, no more Zorgberg anymore, I guess. Yeah, only 2 shelling cannons, so pretty cool. Next we have is V Premium. So this is the Springfest. You know, you have to run teams. You might not. Well, I guess every team. Well, not every team ran Steam Maiden, right? Not every team ran Luard. So this one's a bit of a weird one, I guess. We have Coping Festival coming in first place. This was taken by Steam Maiden, Luard, and Leopold. So this is actually pretty meta, right? If you were to talk about some of the 3 best decks in V right now, you'd probably be saying the 3. But then we have Lock the Vanguard in second place with the Steam Maiden, Luard, and a Chaos Messiah, which is also a pretty good pick. Chaos Messiah does seem to have at least a decent matchup against Luard, and then against like Steam Maidens who don't play around you, you have a good time. Maybe against like Leopold as well. Then we have Meta all the way, taking in the Orange, Steam Maiden, and the Leopold. Again, pretty good picks, right? Pretty good picks. But then we have the RLE. So I'm not sure what the RLE is, but it's taking a Harry? Yeah, Harry? And Neonectar? So Musketeers? And a Night Rose. So out of all of the decks there, I think Night Rose is the most meta one out of them all. But ended up coming in 4th place. So that's pretty good. Let's take a look at some of these decks. So first off, we do have the Leopold deck from Coping Festival. And yeah, this is pretty much a straight up normal Leopold reverse deck, I think. We didn't get to see much of these in BRO, at least for the AO region. I think maybe we saw one like in EU. But yeah, this is pretty much one of the builds right now. Lots of fronts, because, you know, fronts are good. And then, yeah, pretty much the Leopold reverse list. Then the second list here we have is the Chaos Messiah. This one is running a unique card. It is running Bayon. So in some of the matchups, your opponent just doesn't know what you're doing. You can surprise them with one copy of Bayon and play a bit of a slower game, right? This gets the power. It has 0 power, but it increases the power to your opponent's Vanguard during the battle phase, right? At the beginning of the battle phase. So, you know, if they stacked a bunch of force markers on the Vanguard, the Vanguard just gets fat. Your Bayon gets fat, and then your opponent has a hard time doing anything. So very interesting inclusion. Also running the old Messiah as well. I'm not sure if they're just running old harmonics just because it's like, you know, it's a high rarity, but, you know, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not sure if the slot would have been better for anything else though, right? Because, you know, there should be a few more cards that I think you can run. But yeah, interesting Chaos Messiah list. Very cool to see. And then now onto Team Arelisa. So we've got Harry here. So I actually played against a Harry in VRO. So yeah, this one is just a Harry deck, right? It's Harry deck, very nice, very cool. Surprised to see it do so well. I think the main, like, with me, when I played against the Harry deck, the main issue with that deck is I didn't know much what it did. Like, it just did a bunch of multi-attacks, and surprise, surprise, the dragon comes out, sometimes the double dragon out. But I had the luckiness of playing Luard, and also having, like, deck lists be open, so I can see exactly what the deck did, and a quick touch up on what all of the cards do. If you're in real life and you're playing against a Harry list, you're probably asking your friend, what does Harry do? But you can't, because I think in Springfest right now, at least for around the world, that is probably not Sydney, right? Because Sydney does allow a conversation. But yeah, around the world, you'll be not talking to your friend and going, what does this Harry list do? I can't read it. I can't check up on the card effect. I have to read everything. And then suddenly you die, right? They'll go Excel 1 and kill you. So very, very cool, right? Element of surprise, yes. And then here is the Neo necklace. So Dami Mommy returns. I mean, I'm not gonna, like, Seal of Reverse is a pretty good looking card, you know? I'd play it if I could, right? I'd play it if I could, you know? Just saying, but it's a good looking card, right? So yeah, otherwise just a Musketeer list. I know this was pretty popular when this V collection just got released, but then it kind of died off because, you know, it's still a 3-attack clan, right? 3-attack clan and an 8-attack meta is it's pretty sad, but, you know, sometimes you can just crit your opponent, confirm those damage checks, and then, or damage checks and trigger checks and all that. So yeah, pretty cool to see it's doing well, right? And then lastly, we do have the Night Rose list here. I think this one is pretty much just straight up Night Rose, but I know the pilot reached out to me on Discord and just said, this is not actually Banshee of Choppy Waves. This is actually Mick the Ghosty. It was out already in V. So you can run that as like an extra attack as well for like a CB1, and it can come into play, and it can like give 10k to a unit. So overall, this was actually Mick the Ghosty. Don't put in Banshee of the Choppy Waves, right? Yeah, otherwise, the rest of the deck is a pretty straightforward Night Rose deck. Just pop off and win, right? Very cool. Skull Dragon time. And then lastly, we had Springfest with Premium. This was one of my Banh Mi boys. So it looks like very, if you look at some of the names here, very, very Vietnamese Springfest. This was one by, yeah, Banh Mi boys with the Steam Maiden, Highlander, and the Thavas. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Generations was second place with Highlander, Delita, and the Steam Maiden as well. And third place was 0-2 drop 80%. Looks like they didn't 0-2 drop at all. They just went all the way to third place with the Gridora, Kagero, and Highlander. This one is a big weird one, right? And then fourth place was I can't say this. It was like, I think it was like Key? I think the originator was like what? Dumas Gang or something like that. This was Tony's team. Tony with Megatrick and Barry. They played Highlander, OTT, and is this Harry? Harry Nightmare Doll? Like, let's take a look at this. Oh man, I'm dying. Yeah, but yeah, okay. So first off is the Thavas list. So I read the comment. The poster said this list is jank. It looks pretty good to me. I guess the Adelaide and the Terrific Coil is a bit weird, but otherwise the rest of it is pretty good, right? Pretty straightforward, pretty nice. One Dennis maybe is like not that cool, but yeah, otherwise it just looks like a fine Thavas deck, right? And a Stride deck, Yeah, that's correct, right? It looks good. It looks good. It's not that jank, right? It does its job well, yeah. And then next we have is this deleter deck. So this one is it Belitas? Yeah. So this was the freeze ray deleter deck. So I remember way back I saw like Togen ran something similar to this. It just has like the combo of like the Gastor with just drawing, and you got the leaders, the freeze ray, and then just to kind of slow the game down and just pop off with a huge deleter combo. Yeah, that's a cool list, right? We saw a lot of variants of this. It was like deleter Messiah, Chaos deleters, pure deleters, a freeze ray deleters, a lot of anything deleters, right? And then next we have is just this mega colony list. Like there's no. The only Gridora is like this Gridora. A lot of the mega colonies nowadays you see is like you run some like old school Gridoras maybe, or even like just Flagberg colony or things like that. This one is just running straight up Darkface, right? Just straight up Darkface. Make some free cradles when you place it. I guess that's it. Right? I guess that's it. Just do that on place, and then just stride into Gridora, and then just kind of lock the game down from there. So, yeah, okay, that's pretty interesting. I guess it's pretty good against Steam Aiders, right? Because then they can't call anything. And then we have this Kagura list. Yeah, Kagura just straight up one-move combo and hope for the best. 2 cross, and then just like, rebirth and all that. Yeah, interesting list here. I think, is this a damage increaser? Yeah, this is like damage increaser, right? So you hit to 5 for like the rebirth and just kind of go. And then this is damage increaser 2. So yeah, okay, this is interesting. I guess you can surprise a bunch of people who don't respect you, right? Look at your list and you're like, Kagura, that's not a Highlander or Steam Maiden. Free win, right? And then they just die, right? They just die. Here, next we have this is the OTT list, right? OTT list. Your good old Popo combo, right? Battle Sisters with the Popo, get a bunch of crits. You also have your magical, what was it, Kaliko, to like, if you want to just randomly shoot your opponent with just like restanding multi-crit or just like Ichikishima multi-crit kind of thing. So yeah, just your good old tricks with the one Tsukiyomi. I guess you can check top 5 and grab something as well. And then enables you to run Sai as well. So okay, so that's some nice techs, right? That's some nice techs. And then finally, you have that Mega Trick list. This is the Nightmare Doll list running 2 Harrys. 2 Harrys. This is an interesting list. Interesting. I know Mega Trick likes playing Nightmare Dolls a lot, right? I see his list just posted around usually on Twitter. Yeah, this one's interesting. Running the Harry, not sure how good it is. It feels like when you play a Nightmare Doll list, you just want it to be pure Nightmare Dolls. But then you have like 2 Harrys, I guess, for some specific matchups. So yeah, I guess pretty interesting. I'd like to know why. I'd like to know why the 2 Harrys are cool, right? 2 Harrys in this list. We can play like kind of anything else, right? Anything else, more Nightmare Dolls even, right? So yeah, pretty cool. And then next we have is Kyoto. So we've got this, man, Fuzzy makes some really nice. Look at this. Deluxe. And then got the Kyoto. This looks good. I need to get him to make my thumbnail, man. I need to learn. I need to study this thumbnail creation. And then he's got the breakdown here of the top 16 decks. 11 Chronojets made it, 9 Messiah, and 9 Ava. And then followed by a huge drop-off with like 4 Ebisu, and then 3 Overlords, Minerva, and the 2 Wellstras, 2 Megalonozuchi, and then Maelstrom, and then the 1 Lutetia Archite and Leonord. And then here is like the Japanese kind of top 16 breakdown on all the teams. This is from 5th place. So first place, so the top 3 teams here in Swiss were just, they were basically undefeated, right? So they all ran Chronojet and Ebisu and Ava. All of them ran that. So these are all the undefeated lists, and the rest I think were just cut off. Usually they cut off based on like ride line, like diversity cut, but like, yeah, they were all the X ones. So the cutoff there is a bit more not natural. The Messiah, Minerva, and Overlord coming in 4th place. And then we start seeing a bit more of everything. So this one is another Monster Strike with the Leonon. That one is pretty crazy out there. Archite making one of these as well. Some of the Minervas are really doing well. Hey, like some of them just showing up. But then just like Chronojet, Overlord, and Messiah. The one Wellstra piloted by Alpaca as well. Very strong player. Pretty interesting. So this team just ran that. And then they were cut to top 16, by the way. They're cut to top 16. Another Wellstra, Ava, and Messiah. Like quite a few Messiahs. And then we got the 2 Megalonozuchi ones here as well. And then in the last 16, we have that one Lutetia just making in. Funny name here, and then Overlord, and then yeah, just pretty much the rest of the decks. You know, you see the pie chart, you see where they are, and then the winners we have is just the Chronojet, Ebisu, and Ava, right? Just remember, Ebisu got hit by the Banlist previously, and it's still doing pretty well, right? You saw the Swiss result, you saw Meat Rice as well. This team, they were also undefeated. They come third, yeah. And then this is the only team that didn't take an Ava. So Ava also performing very, very well. Yeah, this one took the Messiah, Megalo Nozuchi, and the Jets. And then this one took the Jet, Messiah, and Ava. And we can just say Jet is still doing really well, right? Jet is doing very, we're about to reach set 10. There's definitely 2 decks that are definitely performing extremely well. So Jet and Ava. So this was a bad list coming. So will something happen? I don't know, right? Let's kind of take a look at some of these lists that are not Jet and Ava, right? So first off, we do have the new Messiah. This is something I want to see. How are people building their Messiah lists going into this format? So this guy is just running the 2 Makatis and then 2 of the Hero Grade 2, right? So this is kind of interesting. It just allows you to retire opponent's cards when it comes into play. And then basically this is using the mirror, I'm told, where you can just play it, retire opponent's good stuff, right? So any of these like Arrest the Messiahs and all that, you know, lock themselves, and then just kind of go from there and just bash them. And you can still withstand these because you have Excelix, right? So overall, that's why these are some of the interesting new techs, right? And then the second, I think this is the other Messiah play, that top 4 as well. This one was just straight up running 3 Makanis, and I think that is it, right? I think that's the only difference. So it doesn't really care about the mirror, right? Especially in teams though, right? Since it's teams, you know, you'll face the mirror less. You probably don't have to worry about that much. Just focus on the weakness of the deck, which is Soul, to run Makani to solve that problem, right? Then we have here is the Leon on that deck that somehow topped. Again, we do have some of the cool stuff where you're running the new mushrooms. The mushrooms are really popping off. A lot of Stoichad decks are running the mushroom, right? It's not a pulse anymore. A lot of Stoichad decks are on 4 attacks now, but it's all about the mushroom, right? It's all about the mushroom. I'm actually running the Zorga Ride Line as well, so pretty crazy there. And then the one-off Archite deck that made it. I'm not sure why Archite made it, but hey, you know, it topped, so congrats, right? Congrats. I don't think really anything's changed for this deck. It's just straight up monsters. And then lastly, we do have the Welstra list that top. This card is weird. This one is running a Research Ride Line, right? This is the Research one, right? So, yeah, you search for that one Research, and then, you know, you go into the normal Welstra stuff. But yeah, that's kind of cool, right? That's kind of cool. It just makes extra Research cards, extra set orders, which is pretty important. Allows you to play it immediately, or just an extra card in hand as well that you can use. And then, yeah, just the new Welstra cards. So overall, those were the lists. Those are the cool lists that, you know, I raised. If you want to see all of the lists, they're on VG Paradox as well, Fuzzy site. Go check that out. Otherwise, the deck codes are here. And you can just see the other lists that you want to see. Or, you know, hey, they were all on that Japanese, on the Japanese side as well. So if you want to see the list, you can go back. Also, Paradox. And let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Which deck is cool, which deck is too strong, which deck needs nerf. Whether you agree with me on some of my takes. But yeah, that is it. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll see you all tomorrow, right? Bye.